Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. For today's video, I have 4 creepy stories, creepy things that have happened to me. Some in my childhood, some not too long ago. I just wanted to share them with you. Notice my wonderful background. Okay, so the first story I have is when I was a child, I remember the neighbors directly across from me, we were like best friends with them. They had a maid that would come clean their house every so often, right? This maid, she was an older woman. She was like, I don't know, she had to be like 60 or 70 or something. She was like older, and she would wear this maid's outfit, really old school, right? I remember specifically one time, I think I was playing basketball. I must have been like 10 or 11 or between 8 and 10, somewhere around there. I remember she was cleaning. She was like vacuuming or something. I kind of was looking through the window for whatever reason. I'm a child at this age, so you know, as kids do. You know, front doors have 2 little side panels where you can look in. So my neighbors had that. I look over and suddenly she's just staring at me like deadpan. Just like staring, like the blankest expression, just giving me just a stare, and it's terrified me because she's an old woman. Like, she had to be in her 70s. Yeah, we'll say 70s. She was like, it was like a horror movie, right? Without the music. She was just staring at me, just like glaring at me, and I'm like, okay. And so we kind of stare at each other for like a minute, and I'm like, okay, I should probably look away. So I continue to shoot hoops, and the next minute, like, I look back like a minute later, and she's not there. She's like nowhere to be seen. And the creepy thing is, after that, I never saw her again, ever. And she would come over like maybe once a month or so. Never saw her again until I lived in my parents' house, until I moved out. Never. And so I always thought that was really weird. And that always really creeped me out because she always creeped me out. She was creepy. So whatever happened to her, don't know. My second story also happened to me when I was a child. When I was a kid, whenever I would have like a nightmare, I would wake up in the middle of the night for whatever reason, or I got scared in the middle of the night, I would just like scream for my mom. I don't know why. I would just, from my room, I'd be like, Mom! Mom! Like scream, because I was too afraid to get up and walk over like a foot to her room. My room was like across from her room. So I was too scared to even, you know, walk to her room. So I must have had, I don't know if I had a nightmare or if I was just scared or whatever this particular night. But I remember screaming for my mom, you know, and I don't even know how old I was. I screamed for my mom, and she came into the room, and when I was really scared, like too afraid to go back to sleep or anything, or you know, she would stay in my room. She would sleep in my bed with me. I must have had a nightmare or something. So she comes to my room, and I'm like, Mom, can you sleep with me? I'm scared, you know, whatever. And so she's like, yeah, okay, whatever, cool. Either I was just falling asleep or trying to fall asleep, or I woke up from a dream. It's not quite a dream, like you're in the middle of, like, you're so tired, you're just trying to fall asleep, and then you're almost there, but then like you have I don't know if it's like I'm gonna call it a mid-dream or like a half dream or like a, you know, and then you kind of wake up and you're like, whoa, you know. I don't know what this was, but I've never experienced anything like this. This was the first time. And tell me if you guys have experienced this, because it was really weird. I closed my eyes, and as soon as I closed my eyes, I saw like a swarm of bees, like a bunch of bees just coming at me, like, and I could hear them buzzing, and I could see them, and like it was super real. And I had my eyes closed, and I remember just seeing them go everywhere. And as soon as my eyes opened, I saw them. They were like swarm of bees everywhere, like in front of me. And I remember screaming. I was like, oh my gosh, like, I was like, bees! Oh my gosh, there's a bunch of bees in front of me. Like, what the heck? That really scared me as a kid. I don't know why. Tell me if you guys have experienced something like that, because I've never. That was the first time. It was like so, like I woke up and my dream was real. It was like right there. So that was freaky. So my next one, this one's kind of different. I guess you could say it's a false memory. Just hear me out, okay? Let's see if this makes sense to you guys. I have this really vivid memory of me as a kid, and I don't know if this was a dream that I had or if this actually happened, but I really don't think it happened because this does not sound like me. Okay, so if you don't know, I am not a smoker. I have never smoked, never even picked one up. I've never been interested in smoking. I think it's disgusting. I will never do it. It's gross. As a kid, I was pretty curious about things, and you could say I was ahead of my time. I grew up on a cul-de-sac. I remember this memory or dream. So it's me. I'm a kid, right? And I'm walking along my cul-de-sac, and I remember there was cigarette butts, and they were already smoked, you know. Someone must have flung them out, and we used to get like random cars that would, you know, drive around our cul-de-sac. So this was back in the day when smoking was, you know, more accepted, I guess. I pick up a cigarette butt. I'm really curious about this in my false memory, dream, whatever it is. So I pick up a cigarette butt and I hold it to my mouth. I take a puff. Obviously it's not lit, it's an old one, so which is really nasty. That's pretty gross, right? So I take like a puff and I pretend to smoke, and I'm like walking up, and like I'm walking around my cul-de-sac, kind of walking up the street, like pretending to smoke. And if this really happened, if someone was watching, which I don't know if anyone was watching, you think someone would be like, okay, there's a kid smoking, don't, like, you know, they would come out and say anything. But it's the weirdest thing. Like, I remember like putting my lips around that cigarette butt. Like, I remember, it's like maybe it was in a past life, and I'm not even kidding, because I know what it tastes like. This is gonna sound crazy, but I know what it tastes like, and I know what it feels like to smoke, but I've never smoked, ever. And maybe I'm just saying that because I know what it's like to inhale that nasty ass smoke, but I don't know. I apparently took a, you know, pretended I was in a movie or something, took a puff of air, you know, pretended to smoke, and threw it back on the ground and just kept walking. And it's so vivid in my memory, and it's like it really happened, but that did not happen. Unless I'm crazy, that did not happen. Maybe it was like a vision or something, because it almost is a memory, like I was in a cool movie or something. Like I'm this kid, like with my hand in my pocket, just walking down the street, kind of like Clint Eastwood vibes, right? Okay. I wouldn't do that, you know, and I did some crazy things as a kid. So who knows, it might have happened, but there's also false memories. That's the thing. I took a writing class, and we were learning about like this artist who had like false memories in the 80s or something. He was so high that he, you know, had all these false memories that he wrote about, you know. So some of them were real, but some of them were not. So it's like, what's actually false and not? But of course I don't smoke anything, so yeah, that's not really a possibility. So I don't know about that memory. My last story is a creepy one that happened kind of recently to me. It probably happened a year ago. At my last job, I would take care of elderly people. I would go to their houses and, you know, just do whatever for them, whether it's cook or clean or give them medication or help them with stuff, you know. I was a caregiver. I was filling in for this woman I had never worked for. I was filling in for another caregiver because she was not one of my regulars. When I first got there, she gave me a tour of her house. So she kind of showed me every room, and then she brought me to this one room in particular. It was, and this woman had kind of a creepy house. It was older. It was a lot older. And so, you know, old creepy houses. Right? You know what I'm getting at. She shows me this one room. This was like the last room she showed me on the tour, the grand tour of her house. It was a room full of dolls, and it was kind of like her doll room, like Bunny Meyer dolls, right? Like creepy. Like she had the freaking Annabelle doll, the Raggedy Ann. Is that the doll from Annabelle? Raggedy Ann. And I'm looking at that doll like, that's haunted. Like, I don't know which doll was haunted, but I got creepy vibes from all of them. She had porcelain dolls, she had Raggedy Ann dolls, she had fat cloth dolls, she had glass dolls, I don't know. She had all the dolls you can imagine, okay? Not as big as Graveyard Girl's collection, but it was pretty good. It was like they were all lined up on the bed in like a perfect triangle or something. Anyway, they were all like on display, right? And so she brings me in the room and she's like, this is where I keep my dolls, you know. It was like a spare bedroom and she had her computer there and like, you know. And so I'm up there for not even like 2 minutes, and the lady that I'm with, she's like to my right, like ahead of me, like we have some distance, right? And there's nobody else around me except for the dolls that we're looking at. Suddenly I like feel someone pinch my elbow, this right elbow, no, left elbow here. Someone like pinches it or grabs it or touches it, and I legit jumped. I was like, this was my reaction. I go, oh my gosh, I felt like someone just grabbed my elbow. That was so weird. And she just like kind of laughed and was like, oh, well, yeah. I don't know which doll of hers was haunted, but had to be one of them. You know, dolls, and she's probably used to it, but that was super creepy. And I just got creepy vibes in that room off of the creepy dolls, and so I don't know, one of them tried to get my attention and grabbed my arm, and that was really weird. Yeah, those are just kind of some stories, some creepy happenings, some weird memories that, or not memories, that I had. If you guys like this video, if you like the content, I can do more videos like this. I'm really bad at storytelling, like really bad. So, a lot of editing. Thanks for watching the video and have a good day.